Coming up on this week's PNW Prop Stars, it's week 4 as we head to Lumen East. Our Seahawks offense is flying and Wilson is betting that our top dogs are gonna eat. Adam shares a Geno-fused parlay that we all love, and I'm dropping some stats on why I think it's gonna be another fantastic day for our tight end room. Stick around to the end to hear our plus 1200 picks, aka our Sunday rubbers if you're nasty. We all made it rain money last week. Let's see if we could do it again as this trio dives into PNW Prop Stars, of course, part of the Seahawkers Podcast Network. Let's go. Welcome to PNW Prop Stars, the only Seahawks-only gambling show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. This is part of the Seahawkers Podcast Network, 5 shows a week, the whole thing already. Of course, hit the button on YouTube. You got to subscribe. You got to like. Wherever you got audio, wherever you got ears, it'll be out there on the Seahawkers Pod stream as well. Enough about that, but do the thing. We got the Montana Seahawker, Mr. Adam Emmerich, and the Princedonia Parlays, Mr. Wilson Conn. We're coming in week 4, coming in hot. Over to Lumen East, Rutherford for the Seahawks versus Giants. Gentlemen, I am back from my trip out west. Adam, thank you a ton. That was fun as can be. Wilson, you got to do it someday. I was sending you some pictures from the cabin, the hobo shack, and it was a lot of fun. We did it live last week. I can't hug Adam right now. However, I still feel together. Adam, do you feel our togetherness?
Oh, I feel the togetherness, bud. It's like you never left here. It's still raining, like the rain that you brought with you. But yeah, I appreciate you coming out and checking out what we do out here and how we live. We're just some adults playing fort, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's Wilson. It's fascinating. It's being. I mean, you grew up in Cali.
It's janky as hell, dude. Everything out here is janky.
I grew up on Long Island. It is just like, wait, this is how you can exist this way, and I mean that in a very endearing way. It's quite awesome. So I got to meet the Acid Queen, Brittany. She rocks, and Ollie the dog. Wonderful times. And yes, maybe I brought the rain, but gentlemen, last week we were the rain makers. Wilson, over to you, bud. Are you fixing? You live in Jersey, right? Right now, Princeton for now. Are you fixing to head to this game on Monday night? What plans you got?
Oh, absolutely. I've been waiting for this for the last couple of years. The Seahawks haven't been in town. And if they're coming to Philly, I'm not going to that game because I value my life. So yeah. They're going to MetLife, which is not as hostile. And I got my brother in town this weekend. He'll get here in a couple hours, and we're going to head out on Monday night. So it should be a great time. Really looking forward to it.
That is lovely. Yeah. Avoid getting batteries thrown at your head in Philadelphia. In Manhattan, the worst, or East Rutherford, maybe a beer gets thrown on you, but at $20 a pop, I doubt that at this time in this economy.
Yeah, right.
But speaking of this economy, boys, here we are. Wilson Conn on the screen on YouTube, especially if you're watching out there. He is wearing the PNW Prop Star crown because he is the champion of the week. We all went 2 for 3, and I don't even, the Fail Mary, the Sunday rubber, boys. I don't even count that in the that's the extra. That's $1. We all went 2 for 3 on our quote unquote regular bets, our $10 bets. However, some of us went 2 for 3 a little bit bigger, and Wilson takes the crown with a 109% profit on the week, $33.70 back in the pocket. Remember, we only bet $31, so he made 31 down, $33.70 in profit. That's 109%. Wilson, anything you want to highlight since you are wearing the crown, dude?
I mean, it's hard not to go right to the Wilson 300 there with the field goal on the first drive. I missed, obviously, the first 2 weeks on the 300, but yeah, it felt good to finally get one on the board, and I've got something extra special to celebrate today on third down.
Careful. We'll get to that on third down. I bet it's spicy. Adam, before we head on over to our bet one for this week, any recalls you want to do about week 3? And, 22% wins a win, up $7 is a win, but any regrets?
None. I'd do it all again, and I would smile all the way to the bank. You never go broke making a profit, right? And we all were big winners this week. So along with the Seahawks too, with the win over the Panthers. So do it all again. Let's rewind. I could live that week forever. It was great.
It was a great week. My only regret here is that my top bet, Thielen plus 3.5 receptions, I throttled that. Vegas had the line at 2.5, and I found a bet that allowed me to go to 3.5. My only regret is I couldn't have put it to like 8 and made that like $1,000 one, but Thielen ate us up, go figure, someone's gonna, and eating over the middle on our Seahawks is just something that we still allow. However, we won the game by 10. We all won some money. So why not cheer on your favorite team and make some money? And if you're here, this is what this show is all about. It's an extra analysis, different analysis, woven in, of course, with our bets. Bet 1, bet 2, bet 3, $10 a pop. Bet 4, or the Fail Mary, is a $1 Sunday scratcher, Sunday rubber for Randy Horner in the Discord. And all right, let's get going. I'll bring up some Discord folks later as well. Had some wins last week, but let's get going. So T-Box is yours, Wilson, once again. So honors is yours. Bet 1. What do you got?
Keeping it simple on first down. The money line for this game was at -130, but the spread is -2 for the Seahawks, and you can take that at -110. So I'm going to take the spread. There's not much of a difference between that and the money line unless the Seahawks win by 1 point. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Pretty simple. So Seahawks -2, right, at -110. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Yeah, being pretty darn simple. I will say, before I kick it to you for some reaction to Adam, if you want, earlier in the week, and Wilson, typically you tend to bring up where's the money going, right?
Yeah.
Seahawks opened, they were getting 1.5 earlier this week. So I had a free FanDuel bet because I won something and it was like a little, hey, here's $5 kicker type thing. So I took a real life, like +1.5 and took the over. So I was like, if you're going to give me points, I think we're a better team. Yeah. And then the money flowed that way too. So I think it's a pretty good bet. All right, Adam, anything before you want to jump in with your first bet?
I can't believe that the Seahawks were getting points earlier in the week. I hadn't seen that. This Giants team is just not good. They're not good. In fact, let me go a step further. They're bad. They're bad. So that surprises me, but I like Wilson's bet right out of the gate. Take something simple, get on the board, get things rolling. I dig it.
Yep. All right. Why don't you then swing in and dig in to your bet yourself and tell us what you got.
All right. So same kind of mentality here. I've been burned on this either team to score 3 unanswered time thing. How many times now? I voted, or I've bet that yes, that would happen. So you know what? The definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So I'm proving to y'all I'm not crazy. I'm going with -170. Team does not score 3 unanswered times.
Yeah. It kind of shocked me that it basically doesn't happen and the Vegas odds, but okay. So no, a team will not score 3 unanswered times at -170, right? Okay. Got it. Just going with the odds there. And let's see how that plays out. Okay. I got one to start us off here. And if you're watching for the first time or the 20th time, we like to kind of, I don't want to say limp in, that's not the right way, but we ease into our first bets. And then, of course, we get a little spicier as we climb along here. This one out of the gate, field goals, Myers, 1.5 field goals made, over 1.5. So 2 field goals made, paying me an even +100. Simple math here for me, guys. So far on the year, 11 attempts. Okay. That's 3 point, whatever, 6 per game. Yeah, we had the 5 last game. You had 3 attempts in game 1, nailed 2. 3 attempts in game 2, nailed 1. Shame on you. 5 attempts in game 3, got all 5. If he doesn't get 2 field goals, then we're really happy because we figured out our red zone woes that much more. And I'm not sure we're going to figure it all out in 1 week. Maybe we get better. And with that I still think we're going to stall out a couple times, and Myers puts a couple of easy ones through for +100. That's how I plan on getting on the board. All right. So Wilson, any comments, or you want to flow to bet 2? Your choice.
Well, the Myers one, I think I got burned week 2 against the Lions on that one, him going 1 for 3, but it's really been the freest money all year for us so far. So I like that. And like you were saying, the red zone offense has not been there. First half last week was pure torture. So yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't hit.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hope. And again, if it doesn't, and we're just scoring touchdowns, well, I'll be happy for a different reason, and I can live with that. So Adam, bet 2, you're up. What do you got, bud?
Okay, this will be super exciting for the folks because I am also taking Jason Myers 1.5 or more field goals throughout the game for all the reasons that you just said. And then, to piggyback on what Wilson was saying here, they were just dreadful in the red zone. And I think this is easy money. It was easy money last year. I got a lot of bets correct betting on Jason Myers and field goal props. So second down bet, easy peasy, plus odds, you bet. Give it to me, +100.
Makes sense. No need to drain that one since we covered it, but I agree. Great minds there. All right, that brings me up on my bet number 2. So last week I had some good luck with taking an APP, an Adam parlay I forget party. Yeah, that
party.
part.
Yeah, it's a party. Don't forget the
It's a party.
I almost forgot the party part. An APP last week was my big winner for the week and how I made most of my money. So I'm going back to that well, and I got some stats for us. So look, here's the main thing. G-Men are the 5th worst run defense so far, right around what Carolina is. That's just like giving up the amount of yards and then the YPC, et cetera, et cetera. There's a large range. Like teams have only run the ball like 43 times on the Niners so far. Like that's it in 3 games. And it's something like 49 versus the Eagles because they just shut it down or they get so far ahead that, teams got to abandon it. Not the Giants. The Giants get a lot of attempts to run against them, and they're not particularly good stopping the run. So you could probably, gear up for where I'm going here. I've got a parlay of K9, just the things that Vegas says are his coin flips. Over 63.5 yards rushing the ball, over 11.5 yards receiving the ball, gets me to a spicy plus 265. And to give you a bit more logic as why I like this, Vegas also has a different bet out there that says the combined yardage for K9 is at 78.5 at minus 115. So running catching, Vegas says, we think he's going to be around 79 yards. Okay. Well, if I do my tally, mine's around 75 yards and you're going to pay me 265. Whereas if I took the combo bet, I'm minus 115. Boys, this is just math at this point. Wilson, you're at Princeton. What do you think of this math?
Well, I barely take any math classes, but I don't have to know that that's just beautiful stuff right there.
Great. Adam, anything about the facts, logic, or reason I'm spilling today?
Clinton is known for getting into the nooks and crannies of things. That was a cranny right there. Well done by you. I dig the bet. And I'm also a little offended. Quit copying me on parlays.
No, that ain't going to stop. All right. Speaking of it, let's see. Wilson, any parlays in bet 2 for you? Or are you going with some standards?
Well, I'm going with a standard for bet 2. We can hang around later for some more
Stick
parlay.
around. Careful.
Yeah, last year, one of my favorite bets to go to was the point bands. I haven't gone to that yet this year, but I am going to go there this week. And boy, I'm really tempted to take the Giants between 11 and 20 at 185. Why? Their offense has not been very good this year. They're averaging about 14 a game. I mean, that's a little misleading because they put up 0 week 1 and they put up 12 against the Niners, but they had 31 against the Cardinals. So a wide range, it's hard to tell exactly where they are right now. However, I don't trust our defense that much. So I'm going to take the comfortable bet at Giants 21-30, and it's plus 140.
Plus 140, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, the bands are kind of fun. I like that. I looked at them myself at a couple times, and I won't say what I might have taken because I might take a bet off the board or talk about it too soon, prematurely. I don't mind it. I think for a plus 140, it's a little bit of a roulette spin. So, and that's a little bit difficult. However, logically, I could see that kind of landing there, and the Seahawks in the 30s and the Giants in the 20s, and we're all fat and happy. Adam, any remarks before you? Well, I think I'm up on third down. Any remarks on Wilson's take there?
I could see why it'd be tempting to take the what was it, the lower point band? It was 11 to 20.
11 to 20.
Yeah. I can see why that'd be tempting, but I'm with you on your logic here, Wilson. I mean, the Seahawks defense hasn't proven to anybody yet this year that they're able to keep points off of yards and things of that nature. They're quite a bit better than the Giants. When it comes to points per game, it's about the same. They're both not good at keeping guys out of the end zone at this point. So, it's like you said, a roulette spin. And that's the reason why I kind of stay away from these. But they did you well last year, so we'll see how it goes.
When I'm spinning a roulette, I guess when I'm spinning roulette, I tend to like longer odds because, hey, that's roulette. However, Vegas seems to think it's pretty darn likely in the sense that probably the most favored band still paying it. So I do get it. Okay, so and for bet 3, guys, I've got this one. I won't call it a Wilson 300 because I just can't copy the fellow like that. However, I'm getting a little spicy myself. I've got something that is tilting out at plus 380. And of course, I've got some logic as to why I like it. I'll get to the bet. I think Noah Fant gets in the end zone this week. And there's some reasons why I like that. So plus 380 if Noah Fant catches a touchdown, or, well, if he does a jet sweep and gets in. I really don't care how he gets in. But there's some things here. The big thing for me is that Wink Martindale blitzed Brock Purdy 84% of the time last week, which is freaking insane. It's like, I get that you want to do things, but I'm sorry, that's insane. I'm not saying it'll be 84%, but it is Wink Martindale. So when people are like, oh, it's JSN squeaky wheel, he's making noise. For me, not so fast. Like, what it means is we still got two backup tackles. They're doing well, but they are what they are. More 12 and 13. I don't know if Uncle Will's playing. He was limited yesterday. My guess is before a bye week, they say Uncle Will take a few more weeks off and get right. So that leaves Fant and Parkinson. Fant in 2 games without Disley, 8 receptions, so 4 each and about 90 yards. All right. Let's see that kind of volume and get him in the end zone for one of these. And I got plus 380. So that's my logic to why I like that bet at that money. What do you think of my Noah Fantness?
Did you say Wilson or me, man? You seemed like you changed your mind.
No, I said boy. Yeah. So hey, okay. how about this? Adam, what do you think?
What do I think? I think I want to hear what Wilson thinks.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, I would love to hear what you think, Adam.
Honestly, would you know? Okay, well, I think that Noah Fant doesn't find the end zone very often. I think that should have much beefier odds than plus 380. I don't like the bet. I think you're going to lose that bet. And I appreciate the fact that you gave it a try. So good luck to you, though. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I said I don't like roulette, and then I spin that yarn right there. All right. So that would mean, Wilson, you're up on your third down bet. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going with. I'm celebrating. Last week we hit the first Wilson 300.
Yes, we did.
So this week I'm doubling it. We're calling it a Wilson 600 this week, guys. This is a one-time event. Don't get too excited.
Cocky. Kid got cocky after a week.
Yeah,
That's what
Kid's getting cocky, whatever. All right, so this is a parlay. First parlay of the year for me as well. So we're just getting really spicy this week. It's Monday Night Football. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We got K9 anytime touchdown. He's scored twice each of the last 2 weeks. I feel pretty good about that. I mean, he's not going to score twice every week, but you like him to get in.
Sure.
Metcalf over 61.5 receiving yards. He's been over 70 the last 2 weeks. Again, with our receivers, it's always kind of is it a Lockett week? Is it a Metcalf week? We'll see. And then we got to get Tyler over 4.5 receptions, which is actually probably going to be the hardest part of this bet, surprisingly. He's actually only broken 4.5 once this year, and that was against the Lions. He only had 2 against the Rams and 3 last week. So that's going to be the hardest part of that bet. But it's a plus 600 for those 3 things to happen. I want to bet on our offense this week. Think about it. Last week, guys, we kicked 5 field goals and we still scored 37 points. If you kick 3 field goals in the red zone, that's still a pretty disappointing result, and we would have had 45 points on the game. The offense was playing pretty well, outside of the 20 last week. Things picked up in the second half. I like that to continue. This Giants defense, as Adam was saying, is not very good. And why not take our top 3 players, skill players on offense, to do well in this game? I wasn't looking to go for 600 this week. I was scrolling through the little parlays that DraftKings will cook up for you to entice you, and this one really caught my eye. So I'll go with that plus 600.
A temptress, a songstress speaking to Wilson. So plus 600, Adam, what do you think of his plus 600?
Oh, I think it's probably a fairly good bet overall. I don't want to give the kid credit, but I do like the idea of going big on the Seahawks offensive players. Just like you said, Wilson, the Giants defense, it's not good. And the Seahawks went against a more formidable defense last week in the Carolina Panthers. And like you said, hung 37 points while settling for 5 field goals somehow throughout the day. I would expect more of the same in big numbers to the air. The Giants pass rush is anemic. It's basically non-existent. Geno's going to be sitting back there throwing darts. I think you got good shot at this one.
Yeah. On what if with Mr. Phil, my what if Superhawk was Geno having a really high completion percentage day, because I think he will. So my wish was like, hey, 74% or higher. Maybe just as good as the Detroit game. Maybe it's going to be pristine conditions, like no wind, like 68 degrees at kickoff.
Oh, it'll be beautiful.
So this just shapes up for a condition game where Geno could just pick him apart. So I got to say, I do like it to get plus 600. I think it's a spin. Hey, we're gambling here, but I think it's a pretty worthy one at that payout. All right, Adam, you still owe us a third down bet, bud. What do you got?
All right. Well, I'm about to pay up. So you guys can't have all the parlay fun. I'm getting in on the action. I'm not nearly as aggressive as Wilson here. This isn't quite a Wilson 300. It's at plus 228, but it's Seahawks -3. So I only have to give up 3 points. And I think this should be a double-digit win for the Seahawks. So that feels super comfy to me. And then Geno to simply throw over 200 yards. And that gets me to plus 228. That's my big odds bet on the week. I'm going with consistency this season, guys. I'm trying to keep the risks a little lower and go with more sure things. And this feels like slam dunk, put it in the bank. It's done. It's already done. I already won the bet and the game hasn't even been played.
I love it. I love the confidence. We talked about cockiness earlier. Wilson, is Adam now being cocky with this one, or do you think it's just confidence?
No, I don't think so at all. And I want to know where he's getting these odds, because he's cooked these up the last couple of weeks, and he's just finding.
I can show you the bet slip right here, but
no, I'm not saying I don't believe him. I'm saying you're doing a great job putting these together. I love that. I love the odds. I think you'll probably get that one, and that's making me a little nervous about my plus 600 now.
Yeah, and last week I was sitting next to Adam, and I could see him hitting an iPad or whatever he's using and compiling a legit bet slip, because the week previous, I'm like, where's he finding these? Like, he's digging deep, and so I had my doubts as well. Turns out he's a man of honor. He's doing it right there, and they are legit bet slips.
I'm making my own parlays here, guys. Like, it's not like that. This is something that DK spun up, but it is on DraftKings. You just pick one bet, you pick the second one, and parlays them together, and away you go. Like, anybody can do it. Yeah, even you guys.
Even us.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe after you know what, we'll see. We need a bye week is what we need, right? So we'll think about it. We'll take a bye week. We'll practice with other games. Maybe we'll come back after the next week. All right, we are up on the Fail Mary, means we're back to the top. T-box is Wilson's the Sunday rubber, the dollar scratcher. $1 has to be plus 1,200 or longer odds, because that's what we do here. All right, Wilson, what's your Fail Mary?
Well, I went with another parlay this week, and I'm thinking of going for a new strategy on some of these Fail Marys, which is cook in some of the bets from the earlier downs and then add a little seasoning on top.
Spicy.
So I'm taking my first down bet at -2. I'm adding in the Kenneth Walker touchdown. And then to spice it up, I'm taking the Seahawks defensive or special teams touchdown. And that brings me to 1,600. Daniel Jones is not good at football.
He fumbles, he throws interceptions, he gets sacked, he takes a lot of sacks, right? There's opportunity there. I like the compilation, because what it allows for is, if you're having a day, well, you're in line to have a big ass day. And that's what that kind of strategy allows for. Now, of course, you
also get burned.
It can cut both ways, and we'll see how it shakes. But before I give mine, I might have a similar plan cooking. So Adam, what do you got on your Fail Mary?
All right, just down and dirty and simple. We saw Zach Charbonnet's coming out party a little bit last week. Zach Charbonnet, first TD score, plus 1,200. He did run physical throughout the game. Maybe throw him in down at the goal line on the first drive when they score their first touchdown, the Seahawks. Sure, why not?
I saw that one too, Adam, and that was probably my second choice for this week. I really like that bet.
I like it also. Hey, he's going to get whether he gets more touches or not, to be determined. Like, I think he had 9 last week to K9's 18, which feels really good. Whether that changes or not, I don't know. I do think there might be a bit of, hey, let's get Sharbs his first. Like Bobo got his. Kenneth Walker actually waved himself off the field last week to try and give Charbonnet a chance before the Bobo touchdown. So there's this little bit of a let's get him in the end zone, get his first ball, and like Lockett could bring it back to him like a little baby, which is kind of nice. So we'll see. Hey, it's a Sunday rubber, like we say, it's $1, so why not? Okay, I took the Wilson thought process. I took my bet number 2, which was that K9 parlay, which again was over 63.5 yards rushing, over 11.5 yards receiving. And then I added some field goal spice, where if Myers and Geno make over 1.5 field goals a pop, I round out at plus 1,200. So my bet number 2, throwing in a little bit of my other bet with Myers and throwing Geno with 2 field goals, and I'm at plus 1,200. I look at it as a fairly logical way to get there. Obviously, it's still a long shot. That's what those are. The only thing that worries me is I made that bet, and then I listened to the Seahawkers podcast this morning, with the flagship, where Brandon dropped the nugget that every team so far on every possession inside the red zone against us has scored a touchdown, which freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, wait, for many reasons. Adam, you had a bit of a visceral reaction when you heard that too, and obviously Wilson, you just did. I guess the question is for this group, just analysis wise, and to you, Adam, do we break that streak this week?
God, if we don't, I don't know when we will. This offense, as far as the Giants are concerned, they've had their struggles all year. I don't see them getting right necessarily in this game. Yeah, man, it's time for some red zone stops. And to be fair, I feel like the defense has been improving a little bit week to week. We're seeing it come along. Like week 2, we saw the secondary play actually pretty well for the most part. And then in week 3, we see the pass rush come alive and work with the secondary. Week 4, it's time to put it all together. Feel good going into the bye week. We get a red zone stop or 2. Hopefully, please, God. Yes. Red zone stops, please.
Yeah, that'd be something. And Wilson, we'll land it here. You are heading to the game. I believe I'm going to head to the game. It's going to be a Monday, kind of a game time decision. It's got to do some adult stuff, make sure I can clear my docket, and then get down to the Meadowlands. So you're going with your brother. Any specific routines or traditions? Like, what do you bring into the lot? I want to know, what are you drinking? What are you eating? What does Mr. Wilson Conn like to sip on while he's getting ready for a Seahawks game?
Well, I don't have any special traditions in that sense. I would if I got out to more games, but to be honest, it's kind of a once a season thing for me at this point. I'm thinking of going with my new JSN jersey.
Nice.
But at the same time, I don't know if I want to get too much beer poured on that. So we'll see. That's going to be a game time. That's my game time decision.
Love it. Less batteries to the head, maybe a little bit of beer. We walk into Lumen East Rutherford. We go get this W. We all make some money. And I think with that, boys,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Wait a second. I almost forgot. In fact, I did forget to give some love to those playing along in the Discord, the Seahawkers podcast Discord, of course. Hey, we got some great folks out there every single week telling us the bets that they're playing for fun in real life, whatever it may be. I got to give some love to B Wags Biceps. He's out there. He put some shekels on Bobo for his first touchdown at plus 800. We got to celebrate that. That's some big stuff right there. More Bobo. Great job there, B-Wags.
Oh, it got shaky for a minute there, but we pulled it off.